If we can put an end to Israeli hegemony and to Israeli aggressiveness in this region, we will put an end to many violence in this region. And if we cannot do that, violence will prevail. And you cannot build a country, you cannot build a future for any people under the banner of violence, under military might. That cannot go on. It can be exercised from time to time. But we have seen a live example in Lebanon in 2006 with all the military might of Israel. They have not been able to subdue or occupy Lebanon. So why to keep on going, trying to do this now with the Palestinians?
What is the likelihood, though, of Hezbollah getting involved in this and dragging Lebanon into this conflict?
Well, for the moment, I don't see Hezbollah getting Lebanon involved in this conflict. Unless the Israelis want to decide to direct their military machine towards Lebanon.
And there have been rockets from here to there.
Those were responsible individual benign rockets by a person here and there, based on sentiments more than anything else.
Lebanon has been a proxy for regional powers. It continues to be so, although at present it seems that those regional powers are to a certain extent safeguarding Lebanon's sort of daily existence. What keeps you awake at night?
What keeps me awake at night is the security situation. Yes, that is a time bomb in the midst of extremism and of violence that's prevailing in the region. Of course, that can upset at any moment the stability of the country. And that's why we are supporting as best as we can our security forces, the Lebanese army and the internal security forces and the general security forces. All the security forces have to be supported. And there, again, we require a lot of external support. As much as those forces are vigilant and as much as they are active, as much as we can prevent extremism, we can prevent violence from coming into Lebanon.
What sort of support do you have and what sort of support do you need? And how much of an influence is Syria within this country today? Well,
I believe Syria has its own concerns now. Mm-hmm. They have their own worries, so they don't have time. And luckily, we enjoy now in Lebanon some freedom of action. And we lately, a few months back, received a substantial, also unprecedented support from Saudi Arabia for the Lebanese army with $3 billion for a small country like Lebanon. And that certainly made a big impact on imposing those security forces on everybody who does not want the stability of this country.
There is a political vacuum here which you are incredibly mindful of. There is no president who is the head of state. Been something like 9 or 10 attempts so far to elect a president by lawmakers. Just how big a problem is this? And what will the challenges be going forward if you continue to fail to elect a president?
Well, it certainly is a problem. And it's a major political problem. Any state without a head is not a full state. And yes, we have a safety net in the form of a coalition government trying to carry on matters. Unfortunately, we have the negative effect of this vacuum, which immediately almost paralyzed the legislative branch. Our parliament is not being able neither to legislate nor to elect a new president. And as long as the political factions, all the political factions, do not get to a point where they should gather and decide on electing a president, we will be suffering.